Welcome to Mindset Capital TV, where mindset meets money. This channel is built for thinkers, builders, and future leaders who understand that wealth starts in the mind. If you're ready to level up your thinking, your habits, and your income, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. How to monetize your knowledge. A money and wealth thinking documentary. There are people making six figures from things you already know, not because they're smarter, not because they have more degrees, not because they're more talented, but because they understand something most people never realize. Knowledge is an asset, and most people treat their knowledge like a diary. Private, unused, undervalued. You spent years learning, years working, failing, experimenting, figuring things out. And then you go back to work and trade your time for money, while someone else packages what they know and builds leverage. This isn't about becoming an influencer. It's about becoming an owner. Because the highest paid people in the modern economy don't just work. They teach. They explain. They document. They build systems around what they know. And once you understand how to monetize your knowledge, you'll never look at your experience the same way again. Knowledge is the new capital. In the industrial era, capital meant factories. In the corporate era, capital meant credentials. In the digital era, capital means knowledge. If you know how to run ads, build websites, fix credit, manage money, lose weight, trade stocks, build businesses, pass exams, use AI tools, code, design, you are holding intellectual property. The problem? You don't see it that way because you've normalized what you know. You assume everyone knows this. They don't. What feels obvious to you is valuable to someone 5 steps behind you. And wealth is often built by serving people earlier in the journey. Why most people never monetize what they know. The biggest barrier isn't lack of skill. It's psychological resistance. Most people think, I'm not an expert. I need another certification. I'm not ready yet. Who would listen to me? This is expertise insecurity. You believe authority requires perfection. It doesn't. Authority requires clarity. You don't need to be the best in the world. You need to be ahead of someone. That's it. If you're 10% ahead of someone's current position, you can guide them. But ego wants you to feel fully prepared. And fully prepared never comes. So you wait. And waiting costs leverage. The leverage shift. There are 2 ways to earn. Linear income. Leveraged income. Linear income requires your presence. You work. You get paid. Leveraged income scales your knowledge. You explain once. It pays repeatedly. This is the shift. You stop selling time. You start selling insight. Books, courses, consulting, digital products, templates, communities, licensing. All of them are containers for knowledge. And knowledge compounds when packaged. Finding your monetizable edge. Most people ask, what should I monetize? Wrong question. The better question. What problem can I solve consistently? Your monetizable edge lives at the intersection of what you know, what you've experienced, what people struggle with. You don't need to invent something new. You need to clarify something confusing. Clarity is profitable because confusion is everywhere. Documenting versus performing. Many people avoid monetizing knowledge because they think it requires performance. It doesn't. You don't need to entertain. You need to educate. The most powerful knowledge brands don't shout. They clarify. You don't need a personality shift. You need communication structure. Teach what you're already doing. Document your process. Break down mistakes. Explain lessons. The internet rewards transparency, not perfection. Building trust before selling. Monetizing knowledge is not about selling immediately. It's about trust. Trust compounds faster than content. When someone sees you consistently, teaching, sharing, explaining, helping, they begin to associate you with clarity. And clarity creates authority. Authority creates demand. Demand creates monetization. In that order. Skip trust and you look transactional. Build trust and you look valuable. The power of positioning. You are not selling information. Information is free. You are selling structure. Instead of learn marketing, you position. How to get your first 10 clients in 30 days. Specificity wins. Clarity wins. Transformation wins. People don't buy knowledge. They buy outcomes. And your knowledge is the vehicle. Packaging knowledge into products. Unstructured knowledge feels overwhelming. Structured knowledge feels valuable. That's the difference between a random YouTube tutorial and a paid course. Your job is not to know more. Your job is to organize what you know. Every knowledge product follows a simple transformation formula. Current state, desired outcome, step-by-step bridge. For example, I want to get clients. I want to build credit. I want to start investing. I want to learn AI tools. Your product becomes the bridge. Knowledge monetization is not about information density. It's about clarity of path. Break the process into steps. Remove confusion. Anticipate objections. Simplify. And suddenly what felt ordinary becomes structured transformation. The 3 levels of knowledge monetization. There are 3 primary levels. Level 1, content. Level 2, service. Level 3, scalable assets. Level 1, content. You build attention. You teach publicly. You establish authority. Level 2, service. Consulting, coaching, freelancing. You exchange deeper access for higher income. Level 3, scalable assets. Courses, communities, templates, digital products. You build once. It sells repeatedly. Most people skip level 1 and wonder why nobody buys. Attention precedes monetization. Trust precedes transactions. Sequence matters. Pricing psychology. Most people underprice their knowledge because they price based on insecurity instead of pricing based on value. Ask yourself, if someone applies this knowledge and it earns them $5,000, is $200 expensive? Probably not. Price reflects positioning. Low price signals uncertainty. Appropriate price signals confidence. But pricing requires belief. And belief comes from proof. Start small. Deliver results. Collect testimonials. Increase price. Confidence compounds like capital. Overcoming imposter syndrome permanently. Imposter syndrome is not a sign you're unqualified. It's a sign you're stretching. You don't need to know everything. You need to know enough to guide someone safely. Here's the reframe. You are not teaching from superiority. You are teaching from proximity. You are closer to the solution than someone else. That's enough. Authority is relative, and relative authority is profitable. Waiting to feel like an expert delays growth. Teach what you know now. Grow publicly. Refine continuously. That's how authority is built. Building audience leverage. Audience is leverage, not because of vanity, but because of distribution. When you have distribution, you control attention. When you control attention, you control opportunity. You don't need millions. You need alignment. 1,000 engaged followers are more powerful than 100,000 passive viewers. Build audience by consistent clarity, specific value, honest storytelling, real examples, repetition of message. The internet rewards repetition. Clarity grows familiarity. Familiarity builds trust. Trust builds income. From personal brand to knowledge brand. There's a difference between personal brand and knowledge brand. Personal brand focuses on personality. Knowledge brand focuses on transformation. If your content consistently solves one category of problem, you become known for it. When people associate your name with clarity in one domain, you've built positioning. Positioning creates demand without chasing. Scaling beyond yourself. At some point, your time becomes the bottleneck. To scale knowledge income, automate delivery, use pre-recorded training, build communities, license frameworks, hire support. The goal is freedom, not burnout. Knowledge monetization should increase leverage, not recreate employment. The identity shift, worker to owner. The final shift isn't tactical. It's psychological. You stop seeing yourself as someone who works and start seeing yourself as someone who builds assets. Your knowledge becomes intellectual property. Your frameworks become systems. Your ideas become products. That's ownership. And ownership compounds. The long game. Most people quit too early. Knowledge monetization takes consistency. It takes clarity repetition. It takes public iteration. You won't be perfect at first. You don't need to be. You need to be consistent. Authority grows over time. Trust grows over time. Income grows over time. Compounding works here too. Building your knowledge ecosystem. Most people treat monetization like a single event. Post content. Drop product. Hope for sales. That's fragile. Real leverage is built through ecosystems. An ecosystem looks like this. Free value attention. Attention trust. Trust email/direct access. Direct access offer. Offer transformation. Transformation testimonial. Testimonial authority. Authority more attention. That loop compounds. Instead of chasing customers, you build a machine that attracts them. Your knowledge isn't a one-time sale. It's a flywheel. And once the flywheel spins, momentum does most of the work. The knowledge stack strategy. Most people try to monetize one skill, but the highest earners stack knowledge. For example, marketing plus psychology, finance plus storytelling, AI plus productivity, fitness plus discipline, career strategy plus negotiation. When you combine 2 or 3 domains, you become rare. Rarity increases value. Value increases price. Instead of competing in crowded spaces, stack your knowledge until competition disappears. Uniqueness is monetizable. And most people are more unique than they realize. They just haven't mapped their stack. Turning problems into products. Pay attention to repetition. What questions do people always ask you? What mistakes do you keep correcting? What process have you explained multiple times? Those are product signals. Every repeated explanation is a potential digital asset. Instead of answering 100 times manually, package it once. That's the shift. You move from reactive teaching to structured distribution, and structured distribution scales. The audience trust formula. Trust is built through 3 elements: clarity, consistency, proof. Clarity makes you understandable. Consistency makes you reliable. Proof makes you credible. Most creators focus only on clarity. But without consistency, attention fades. Without proof, conversion drops. Show results. Share case studies. Demonstrate transformation. Evidence eliminates hesitation. And hesitation is the enemy of sales. Monetizing before you feel ready. There's a myth that you must build a massive audience first. You don't. You need alignment. Start small. Offer beta versions. Launch early drafts. Test frameworks. Sell before perfection. Perfection delays momentum. Iteration builds strength. Your first product will not be flawless. It doesn't need to be. It needs to solve something clearly. The income expansion model. Once one knowledge product works, expand horizontally and vertically. Horizontal expansion. Different offers for the same audience. Vertical expansion. Higher level offers for deeper transformation. For example, free content, low ticket guide, mid ticket course, high ticket coaching, premium community. This latter increases lifetime value, and lifetime value increases stability. Instead of constantly chasing new buyers, you deepen relationships. Depth creates durability. When knowledge becomes asset class. At scale, your knowledge becomes intellectual property. IP can be licensed, white-labeled, repurposed, translated, sold. That's when it stops being income and becomes an asset class. Books can sell for years. Courses can generate passively. Frameworks can be licensed to companies. Knowledge compounds, but only if captured. If it stays in your head, it earns nothing. If it's structured, it multiplies. The psychological transformation. The biggest shift isn't financial. It's psychological. You stop seeing yourself as replaceable and start seeing yourself as valuable. Because knowledge is leverage. Leverage creates independence. Independence creates optionality. And optionality changes how you walk into rooms. When you know your skill can generate income independently, confidence changes. Risk tolerance changes. Decision-making changes. You're no longer dependent on permission. You're building ownership. The final framework. Here is the complete structure. Identify what you know. Clarify the problem you solve. Document your process publicly. Build trust through consistency. Package knowledge into structure transformation. Price based on value. Build audience leverage. Expand through systems. Scale beyond your time. Capture knowledge as IP. Repeat. Monetizing knowledge is not about fame. It's about leverage. It's about transforming experience into ownership. And ownership compounds. You are sitting on assets. Years of learning. Mistakes. Lessons. Processes. Frameworks. You call it experience. The market calls it value. The only difference between someone earning from what they know and someone who isn't is structure. Capture it. Clarify it. Package it. Distribute it. Because the highest paid people in the modern economy don't just work, they teach. And once you understand that, you'll never treat your knowledge as ordinary again. If this video shifted your mindset, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Remember, your mindset is your greatest asset. Protect it. Build it. Invest in it. This is Mindset Capital TV. We'll see you in the next one.